this episode of Actionable Insights for Founders by Founders. Our guest today is the CEO and co-founder of Recruiterflow, Manan Shah. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello. Okay.
Hey, hi. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you doing?
Not bad at all. Just working from home. My wife is on a call, so I need to find another place. So, yeah. All right. Great. So
I'm excited.
Well, me too. I found your approach to be very personal. There's of course an abundance of pitches that I see on LinkedIn. I found it interesting, so I thought I would respond. And for somebody who took time to write that message, I thought, I should definitely give them some time. So
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yep. Okay. Can we get started? Just a
Absolutely.
few questions. Yes. Can you share with us a little bit about Recruiterflow?
Sure. Yeah. Recruiterflow is an applicant tracking system that's built specifically for recruiting and staffing agencies and helps them organize their workflow and, more importantly, really automate their recruiting process.
I see. When you were still starting in the SaaS industry, what was the biggest challenges that you have encountered? Like, for example, when it comes to sales, hiring, and growth, like what's the biggest challenge you have experienced?
Well, so it really depends on your stage, right? So when we were really, really early and didn't really have, a product market fit, of course, sales was the challenge. Once we found the product market fit, the growth was the challenge. And at a certain stage, right, like at least where we are right now hiring is our biggest challenge, right? So as the CEO, if I'm not able to put the right people in the right place inside the org, it's going to affect each and every metric. And even as a founder of a recruiting tech startup, we make mistakes in hiring, right? So again, extremely hard problem to solve. But that's the biggest challenge that we face right now.
See, from time to time, it varies too. Depends on like the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what stage of your journey you are on, it really, your challenges are going to be very different.
How many years have you been operating in Recruiterflow?
About 3.5 years now. So we launched back in November 2017 in beta. And we got our first dollar in December 2017.
Wow, so much growth in 3 years.
Once for the first year, we didn't really have much of what we call as product market fit, but we made a mini pivot focusing just on recruiting and staffing agencies near the end of 2018, and it's been phenomenal since then.
I'm curious, so what brought you to that industry, recruiting and staffing agencies?
Okay, so so in my previous company, we didn't really have a proper recruiting team in place, and I was doing a lot of recruiting for product and growth and the design teams, and it just became we were just using the traditional ways of the spreadsheets and all of that, and it became very, very hard. And I realized that the recruiting software that we are using are difficult to use, and they're not really built for modern recruiting, which is much more outbound, where you find and headhunt the candidates that you want instead of waiting for candidates to apply on your advertisements. And we put together a bunch of tools, and we realized that all of these tools are tools built for salespeople. So we built Recruiterflow and there was a very clear disparity in terms of the user experience and the sophistication and the automation of sales tools versus recruiting tools, while the jobs are and the workflows are very similar. So that's what created Recruiterflow in the first place. And then we realized that this problem is much more acute for recruiting and staffing agencies. And from there, we just focused on them.
Awesome. I'm curious now, how many countries have been using your software?
I don't think I have the exact number, but I think now we have users in more than 80 countries now.
That's super interesting. That's awesome. Very good. Um, okay. I want to go back to the book that you have mentioned during your interview with Nathan Latka, because it's so interesting. What principle from that book you have got that you have implemented when you were experiencing different challenges when you were still starting?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So one of the things that he talks about is competition is for losers, right? So although we operate, he talked about it in a very different sense, right? Like where you have such a differentiated product, service that you don't care about. And what I learned from 0 to 1 really came in handy, where we just focused on one aspect of of our value proposition, that we are going to do the best in the world, and just find customers who were willing to pay for that. And that really helped us get much more clarity in our thought process, in our positioning, in our product, everything, right? Which has been immensely helpful for us.
Wow. Okay. Since we are now in the year where most people are working from home, and we are in the era where every now and then there are a lot of startups sprouting from different countries. What advice would you give to someone going through like the challenges you have been through, like who are experiencing the same thing right now, like difficulties in sales, market value market proposition, the things you mentioned, and then hiring,
Yeah.
what advice would you give to
Yeah.
them?
Well, keep your head down and stay focused, and eventually you solve all problems, right? So persistence is your biggest friend in this very, very challenging journey.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Manan. And just
Well,
like,
my pleasure.
yep. In just a few minutes, I've learned a lot.
Thank you for having me, and glad I could help.
Thank you too so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Lai.
Yeah, okay, bye bye.
All right, cheers, bye.
Thank you so much for watching Actionable Insights for Founders by Founders. This is your host, Lei Dutra. I hope that you enjoyed our deep dive into the life, challenges, and strategies of our SaaS founders. I hope that you're keen to see this kind of content and you will be able to apply their advice. And kindly join us next week as we will be interviewing Jay Takosh, how he have developed 7 tech-related companies and know the challenges that comes with it. As always, you can head over to my LinkedIn profile to share your ideas and tips in the world of SaaS, and as well as check out all the links in the comment section below. And that's all. Thank you so much.